My name is Am. I want to. I grew up in a small industrial town where opportunity felt like a rumor, not a promise. My mother worked long shifts at a textile factory. My father passed away when I was 14, leaving behind debts, grief, and a house that felt too quiet. From that moment on, survival became my education. I studied hard, not because I loved school, but because it was my only way out. When I received acceptance to a university in another city, my mother cried, not from joy, from fear. We both knew we couldn't afford it, but I promised her something I didn't yet know how to fulfill. "I'll manage," I said, and I left. The city that didn't care. The city didn't welcome me. I lived in a tiny room behind a mechanic's shop, rented by an acquaintance of my uncle. The walls smelled of oil. The bed creaked every time I moved. In winter, I slept wearing my jacket. During the day, I attended lectures. At night, I worked. First as a dishwasher, then as a cleaner, then at a small call center answering angry voices for minimum pay. There were weeks I survived on bread and tea. People noticed. Some classmates whispered, others laughed openly. One girl once said, loud enough for me to hear, "She smells like poverty." I smiled and kept walking. The man who promised safety. In my second year, I met Lucas. He was older, confident, studying business management. He spoke about the future like it was already written, and he was winning. He noticed my exhaustion, my quiet focus, my discipline. "You don't belong in the shadows," he said once. I believed him. He helped me study, bought me coffee, listened when I talked about my dream to create a logistics platform for small local suppliers inspired by my mother's factory work. "You're smart," he told me, "too smart to stay invisible." For the first time in years, I felt safe. Cracks in the picture. But safety can be an illusion. Lucas started correcting me in public, interrupting me during discussions, presenting my ideas as our thoughts. I told myself it didn't matter. Then came the internship. A prestigious firm selected one student from our program. I applied quietly, so did Lucas. When my name was announced, the room froze. Lucas smiled, but his eyes didn't. That night, he didn't congratulate me. Instead, he said, "You embarrassed me." I didn't understand. "You think they chose you because you're talented?" he continued. "They pitied you." That was the first time I felt fear instead of love. The fall. Weeks later, rumors spread that I slept my way into the internship, that I manipulated professors, that I wasn't trustworthy. The whispers followed me into classrooms, into hallways, into my workplace. Then the internship was suspending, pending review. I was called into an office and asked questions that felt like accusations. Later, I learned the truth. Lucas had written an anonymous complaint, detailed, convincing, cruel. When I confronted him, he didn't deny it. "I did what I had to," he said calmly. "This world doesn't reward weak people." I walked away shaking, but upright. The lowest point. Everything collapsed at once. The internship vanished. My hours at work were cut. My rent increased. One night, I counted my money and realized I had enough for exactly 3 more days. I didn't call my mother. She had enough worries. Instead, I made a decision. I stopped trying to be seen. I became invisible by choice. Building in silence. I started freelancing online at night, data entry, research, logistics optimization for small businesses, using the same ideas Lucas once mocked. I learned fast, failed often, adjusted quietly. I slept 3 hours a night. Weeks turned into months. One client became 5, 5 became 20. By the time I graduated, I was earning more online than most of my classmates would make in their first year. No one knew. The return home. I returned home after graduation with one suitcase and a different spine. My mother looked older, tired, but when she saw me, she smiled like she hadn't in years. I paid off my father's debts quietly, fixed the roof, bought her a washing machine she never asked for. She cried anyway. The reckoning. 2 years later, my company had a name, Brookline Supply Systems. We helped small manufacturers optimize delivery routes, reduce waste, survive. Then came the conference. The same firm that once rejected me invited me as a speaker. Lucas was there. He didn't recognize me at first. When he did, his face drained of color. During the Q&A, someone asked about obstacles. I paused, then said calmly, "Betrayal can delay you, but it can't stop you unless you let it." I never looked at him. I didn't need to. What I learned. I learned that not everyone who smiles wants you to succeed, that love without respect is just control in disguise, and that the most dangerous thing you can do to someone who tried to destroy you is to thrive quietly. Closing. If you're struggling right now, if you feel unseen, if someone you trusted turned against you, don't rush to prove them wrong. Build first. Let time do the explaining.